Republican Congressman James Comer, who is now the chairman of the House Committee on Oversight and Reform, appeared on CNN with Jake Tapper. And Jake Tapper just brutally dismantles the dishonesty of James Comer and the way that he is portraying the Biden document story in contrast to the way he responded to the Trump document story, and how he's saying it's very important that we look into the Biden document story. Not the same with Trump, as we've talked about now extensively. But Jake Tapper just very nicely makes James Comer's dishonesty clear in this interview, as you'll see. Take a look.
So let's go there, because you're talking about the Trump documents. Former President Trump is under an investigation for his own classified documents. There are about 20 in the case of Biden. For Trump, there are more than 300 classified documents at Mar-a-Lago. A big difference here, just on the facts. Trump did not fully comply with the subpoena. His lawyers falsely told investigators that they turned everything in. Take a listen to what you told CNN about this situation last November.
I don't know much about that. That's not something that we've requested information just to see what was going on, because I don't know what documents were at Mar-a-Lago. So, that's something we're just waiting to see what comes out on that.
But is it fair to say that investigation won't be a priority?
That will not be a priority.
So what do you say to viewers who don't understand why President Biden's documents seem like a big priority for you, but President Trump, who took hundreds more documents, did not comply with the subpoena, did not reach out to the National Archives or the Justice Department to say, hey, we found these documents? It's not a priority.
To be clear, we'll continue this in a second, but that is how you introduce a question to someone who you know is going to try to dishonestly wiggle out of it. You just lay it all out on the table and then say, here you go, sir. Take it away.
Do you only care about classified documents being mishandled when Democrats do the mishandling?
Absolutely not.
Now, if he were more honest, it would have stopped after absolutely, but this is his attempt to get out of the dishonesty. Take a look.
Look, we still don't know what type of documents President Trump had. That's one of the questions we've asked National Archives. Just because Joe Biden's lawyers said they turned over 5 documents doesn't mean they just turned over 5 documents. They could have turned over 500 documents. I'm sorry, but I don't have a lot of confidence in President Biden's personal lawyers. At the end of the day, the National Archives implied to us at former Chairman Maloney's request and told us that the National Archives was working with the Trump administration during the transition. That's the last communication we had with whether or not the archives had worked with Trump on removal of all the documents from the White House. So we don't know exactly what Trump has versus what Biden has. At the end of the day, my biggest concern isn't the classified documents, to be honest with you. My concern is how there's such a discrepancy in how former President Trump was treated by raiding Mar-a-Lago, by getting the security cameras, by taking pictures of documents on the floor.
Okay, and we'll continue this a little bit further in a second, but that starts going with the narrative that we talked about previously in today's show that, okay, yeah, maybe Trump, he obstructed, blah, 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 blah. But the real issue is that he was raided, Biden wasn't. Biden should get raided just to make it all fair and equal. But Biden is complying with the authorities, is complying with the investigation. Trump did not. Why was the raid necessary? Because Trump wasn't complying. They act like the raid was just for funsies or for, out of hate for Trump, when it had a purpose. It was to get the documents that Trump was not allowing them to get, was not turning over to them knowingly. Whereas Biden, right when he became aware that he had these documents, turned them over. Doesn't mean there still wasn't wrongdoing with him handling them where they were, not being secure, whatever it might be. We'll see. But definitely shows you the difference between Trump and Biden and why the raid was necessary in Trump's case and not Biden. So just willy-nilly doing raids to make things equal doesn't make any sense when the facts on the ground of the situation is not equal. Why respond the exact same way to a less severe situation?
By going through Melania's closet versus Joe Biden, they're like, okay, your personal lawyers who don't have security clearance, they can go through, they can just keep looking and determine whatever's there. That's not equal treatment, and we're very concerned and there's a lack of trust here at
Right.
the Department of Justice by House Republicans. That's the outrage.
So I get that, but there's a big difference in how President Biden and his team reacted and how President Trump and his team reacted. The FBI searched Mar-a-Lago because Trump, for more than a year, refused to turn over documents to the National Archives and the Justice Department, which was trying to get them back into secure hands. Trump and his lawyers lied about it. Trump lied about not having classified documents, did not keep them in a secure location, did not comply with a subpoena, but said he had. And that search warrant, which Trump forced out into the open through his legal machinations, that cited laws that Trump might have violated, including the Espionage Act.
It's my understanding that President Trump did let the National Archives go through on numerous occasions, Mar-a-Lago, looking at the documents. What my understanding is, and again, we don't know because we haven't been briefed, was that President Trump was arguing with National Archives.
Right. And then he continues on. So, wow, that's one way to do it. I'll say that's one way to attempt to come off as consistent. I guess a lot of just, I don't know enough about listen, here's the deal, Jake. I don't know because I choose not to look into the facts of the Trump case. So because I don't know, you shouldn't come to me with a response on the Trump case. My guess is Trump's not in the wrong. The DOJ is horrible. With the Biden case, I do know the details and I know that Biden's in the wrong. So let's talk about that. There's no inconsistency there. I'm just choosing not to know any of the facts of the Trump case. So then I can then turn around and say, I don't know the facts, so I'm not going to touch that one, but I know the facts of the Biden one. And he messed up. So that's where we are with some of these people. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to be a part of what makes this show possible, plus get access to the full video version of the show hours before any of the clips are uploaded to YouTube, plus get a full extra show every single Saturday, you can do so by going to patreon.com/Luke Beasley. That's patreon.com/Luke Beasley, and there's a link in the description.